shark lungs!
Glacial by Benjamin Bronte. Ohm was a real bastard, Al decided for the third or fourth billion time. They hadn't quite forgiven themselves either for falling into Ohm's clutches. Now all Al could do would be to await decapitation. It would come more or less imminently, as do all things when judged on the time scale of immortals. If Al could die, like a mayfly or a human, they'd have starved and thirsted away long ago, immobile as they were. Hell, during the casting of the alloy prison itself, Al had wished themselves capable of death as the molten metal poured down to encase their legs and torso. Generation after generation of Al's caretakers came and went, keeping the outside world away and making sure the casket hadn't shifted. Once every century or so, a kind or rebellious child would take pity on Al and bring them food and water, though this would only make Al's torture more acute, as they'd have to grow used to hunger once again. Al came to understand how Ohm had coped ages ago, sunk in an iron tomb at the bottom of the sea, back in the golden age when Al had boasted the upper hand. Those mortals with their submersibles had ruined everything, and now, a hummingbird flicker of years later, Ohm perched at the top of the world, while Al sat supine in the Arctic wastes, only their head and shoulders poking out from the alloy monument. Caretakers, in their thick coats, came to level the land with their shovels, and, as an afterthought, to scrape the ice from around Al's exposed face. Once every 3 or 4 lifetimes, a team of mortals with heavy equipment would remold the landscape, presumably on Ohm's orders, to make sure the decapitation stayed on track. Only in the most recent generations had there appeared specialists to groom the growing wall of ice. Patient family lines, wielding fan-shaped scrapers, carved the advancing mass like a mountain-sized topiary. Al meditated. Al struggled. Al raged, but for all that they could do nothing. Decades piled up like snow, and time advanced like the frozen wall, the sadistic natural blade selected to carry out a capital sentence. Al might have communicated with the caretakers, but by then the linguistic drift had become too great. Scrape, scrape, scrape. The Arctic gardeners, Al noticed, were coaxing a small spur of the icy mass to jut sharply in advance of the rest, right in line with their head. What a bastard. Leave it to Ohm to devise the planet's slowest guillotine. The young became old. Their grandchildren withered to dust. Al felt a subtle cold against one side of their face that grew impossible to ignore. Year after year it advanced. Ear pressed against the ice, Al fancied they could hear echoes, deep cracking, the heartbeat of the glacier. Ow! Al tilted their head, now a bit uncomfortably. A steeper bend, a worse crick. Another generation lived and died. The region's climate continued to cool ever so slightly. The ice advanced. Ow! 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 Ow!